Hey, Jai Gurudev, everyone, and welcome to this another week summary for Yoga Vasistha. This time we are going to see 3rd of April till 10th of April, pages from 94 to 100. Yeah, 101. So let's begin. This is a very interesting things that shared here in this week. So we will go slowly, one by one. So Vasistha is talking, and he is saying, victory over this gobbling known as mind is gained when with the aid of one's own self-effort. So there is only one thing that you can apply is your own self-effort to get the victory over this mind. One attains self-knowledge and abandons the craving for what the mind desires as pleasure. And with the self-effort only one attains the self-knowledge and abandons the cravings and all that. Okay, so this is easily achieved without any effort at all, even as the child's attention can be easily diverted by the cultivation of the proper attitude. So if you don't want to put a self effort, then you can just cultivate your attitude. Now what is the attitude? Attitude is means whatever you are putting your focus on and believing that is true, and using that as your driving force, motivation force. Woe unto him who is unable to give up the cravings and all that. By intense self-effort, it is possible to gain victory over the mind. And then without the least effort, the individual consciousness is absorbed in the infinite consciousness when its individuality is broken though. So understand this, you have to put this self-effort in order to understand the unreality of the mind. And once you understand the unreality of the mind, after that you don't have to put the self-effort, you have to just let go after that. That's where the grace works in, that's where all the other things comes in place to play its important role. So you have to just put the self-effort in order to get rid of the unreal things that you have achieved, or you have got the impressions of. And then after you realize that this mind is unreal, all these impressions are unreal, all those things happening, all my thoughts, all my concepts are unreal, after that you have to just let go. And then when you let go, the individual consciousness will just lose its individuality, because its individuality is depending on the mind. Its individuality is depending on the right and wrong concepts. Its individuality is depending on the good and bad, whatever you have thought of. And everything around you that comes in your mind is all concept. So the moment you start realizing this and start getting rid of mind and start coming back to the self, where you can witness the mind, again understand the mind will not disappear. It is the tendency and the characteristics and the nature of the mind that the thoughts will keep coming in. You will not get affected by them because you will watch them happening outside. Like right now, if you decide you're watching this video, so there are lots of things happening around your house. You are focusing your attention here and you are forgetting what's happening around you, so that all is not bothering you, that all small noises and small things are not bothering you. The same way, when the consciousness is establishing with the consciousness and watching the body and mind working on its own natural tendencies, whatever it's supposed to do, the body will get hungry, body will get sleepy, body will get tired, body will get healthy, mind will have thoughts, mind will have right thing, wrong thing, judgments, expression, understanding, perceiving. All those characteristics will come and it will be seen as associated with either mind or body, and then you will start going back into the place where only the witnessing will happen. And then during that stage, automatically you will start losing the hold also on that witnessing, and it will just go into the absolute infinite consciousness. Again, when you go into that, you will not realize that. It's like going into the deep sleep. So don't even imagine again. That is another concept you will come up with, that I will go into the infinite consciousness and I will be like one with everything. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's happened on a very subtle, on very different level, that it just happens. It just happens for a few seconds, a few fraction of second and all that, and more you get into that stage. So getting into that stage is a lot of work. You have to be aware of the mind, aware of the body and all that. Once you get into that stage, you just relax, you just let go. Then after that, it's different altogether. So abandon your reliance with faith or gods created by the dull-witted people and all that, and self-effort, and by the self-effort and self-knowledge, make the mind no mind. So whatever you have seen around you created, including the religion, the concept of God, the concept of your surrender, the concept of your devotion, the concept of your spirituality, everything that is you see created by someone, and only few people are following it, others are not following it. That means it's a concept created by a group of people. What is that everybody can understand, everybody can get, everybody can benefit, everybody can experience, is the individual consciousness, is the witnessing consciousness, witnessing the mind. The mind don't have religion, mind don't have any particular spirituality or a god or something that is such. Everybody's mind works in particular way. Thoughts in the mind has been affected by all these concepts. So that's what is said here, that abandon all this faith and God and all those things that you can think of, and then establish. Let the infinite consciousness follow as it were the finite mind, and then go beyond everything. So the infinite consciousness had to understand that it is stuck there as an individual infinite consciousness because it is attached to the mind and body. Once you will lose the grip over that, and is understand that this attachment, the existence of the individual consciousness is there because it is attached with the body and mind. That is why in sleep you don't have the individual consciousness, because you don't have understanding and hold over your mind and body, and then you just dissolve, and when you dissolve you forgot everything. But this time the same thing is happening with our efforts and all that, but it is not self, it is not sleep, it is not unconscious, it is conscious. It is conscious means a very subtle way of awareness is there, that you are, but you don't know who you are, what you are, where you are. So the time, space and your identity, everything is gone. One who knows the deathless nature of the self is not afraid of the death. Again, because deathless nature of the self is associated with your body and mind. If you know you're not body and mind and you're just living, that means every now and then you accumulate this body and mind to go through all those desires and pleasurable experiences. And when it's done, you just leave it, and then you wait for the another body, another desired mind to get fulfilled, and you just get into that and you just survive on that. Towards whichever object the mind flows with intensity, it sees its fulfillment of its craving. Of course, there is no mind without restlessness. Restlessness is the very nature of the mind. So this is very important. So you don't try to get rid of the mind. People go on this trip and they just keep beating themselves. Your mind will always be there. It will not stop. It will stop bothering you because you know how to handle it, and it will lose its intensity. Right now, if you see, you got lots of thoughts in your mind and they are bothering you because you have put the attention to them, and you are going in a flow with your thoughts. The moment you will start giving importance to your thoughts has got no other way, to only way remaining is just to settle down and leave you, not to bother you. When the mind is deprived of its restlessness, it is referred as a dead mind, and that itself is a penance, of course, because you have to just hold that thing and control with the self effort and with the self knowledge. You have to just keep understanding that mind is not real. All those things is happening in the mind is just a play of all those elements and all these food atoms and all these old tendencies and all that. And once you know that, it itself is the biggest tapas, because mind is so subtle and works on such a different level that to control that, to understand that, to know that, and to work with that itself is a long process. Body is different. Body is physical. That's why you can give a time limit. 6 months you will lose weight. 1 year you will get particular shape. 2 years you will do that, blah blah blah. Because you are working with the something solid, tangible thing. Something that is not tangible, something you cannot hold off, something that you can't see, you can't know, you don't have the control. Even you think it's your mind, but actually it's not the mind, it's the universal mind. It's just getting projected in you. So you don't have the control over your thoughts also, because the thoughts are also not yours. We think they are our thoughts and we owe them, and the whole problem starts. But they are just floating. They are just floating, getting affected by the people you come in contact with, getting affected by the food you eat, getting affected by the environment. So all those things are not in our control. So we can't even control, but we hold on to that, and that's where the problem starts. So it itself is a big tapas, penance, as also the verification of the scriptures and liberation. And it has been verified by the scriptures and the liberation. Okay? Mind constantly swings like a pendulum between the reality and the appearance, between the consciousness and the inertness. When the mind contemplates the inert object for the considerable time, it assumes the characteristics of the inert object. Now, what are the inert objects that the mind consider it for the continuous for the long time? I am body, I am male or female, I am intelligent, I am hardworking, I am lazy. All those things and labels you have put to yourself is all the mind is considering its inertness and working on that and assuming it as a reality. Understand this, I will repeat it. The mind is putting its focus on the inertness and assuming something and considering it as reality because it is there and it is just holding on to that. I am man, I am woman, I got a good body, strong body, weak body, I'm intelligent, I'm not intelligent, I can do this, I cannot do this, I like this, I don't like this, I will do in a particular way, I will not tolerate this, I will tolerate this. All those are nothing but the concepts, and it's become a solid reality inside you because the mind is holding on to that inertness. Now, if you let go of that inertness, what will mind will hold on? Because mind will need something to hold on. Then you give it consciousness as an object. You ask it to turn inside. Ask him to focus on something that is there, but you cannot hold it on because mind don't have the capacity to hold it on. And then it will start losing its identity because I can't hold it on. I can't understand consciousness. And then it will start losing and it will stop bothering you. So it's the journey of going outward to inward. The psychological tendency or the mental disposition or the mental conditioning is unreal, yet it does arise in the mind. The product of the ignorance is real only in the ignorant person. Otherwise, it's just the verbal expression. So whatever I am saying, all those things, those who are stuck into all those things will immediately say, yes, I can feel that, I can experience that, this is happening with me. But when you go into that level of witnessing and say all those things, like most of the time even happens with me, you're just saying it. You're just saying it to let the other person understand the concept. Otherwise, everything is just a play of consciousness. It's not, you don't have to worry about that. Only you understand this and you realize this and you say it as a part of the words and expression only when you established and see it happening. Till the time you are getting carried away with the mind, then it is very difficult. Then you will not be able to say that. So for the wise, it's like that. It's just a play of words. For the ignorant who is stuck, they have to analyze everything. They have to understand everything. And that's why the mind goes into repetition. Why I'm going through this? Because somebody said that thing. Or why somebody said that thing? Because he or she is like that. Why he or she is like that? But you are not understanding one thing. It is your own mind which is creating all these concepts and you are getting carried away. Blaming someone is also a concept inside you. And your mind is playing that game. So we just get stuck with all this thing. Do not become inactive either. Now this is very important as well. For what is gained by doing nothing? What has to be done has to be done. And therefore, rest in the self. Now, you are resting in the self, you are witnessing everything. But mind, characteristics of the mind and the nature of the mind will continue on. Nature of the body, characteristics of the body will continue going on. The consciousness which is feeling itself, it is an individual consciousness giving itself an importance, the egotism is forming, and after that the whole world is getting created. That whole process is happening and it will go on. There is no end to that. So those who are wise and established into the self, they don't become inactive, they still keep becoming active. They still participate into all those things and they do the needful thing what is required for this earth, for this creation, for this humanity right now. That's why all the gurus you will see, they have come out with all the different techniques for making your mind and body better. Most of the gurus and masters you will see, they're participating and giving their opinions, giving their understanding, talking to the leaders and making a change in the world, in the country or in other things. For a guru who is established into himself, he don't need all those things, isn't it? He don't need to do all those things. He can just, there are people who have done that also. They have got into the Himalayas and they are rested there and they are peacefully living their life and not interacting with anything. But it is said in Yoga Vasistha and many other scriptures that it is not how it will work, because your mind will still be there. And the best way is you just get active, you just do something, whatever, because your capacity has increased 10 times, 100 times, 1000 times more than the normal human being. And that is the things can be possible for you that cannot be possible for the others. You bless someone and the things happens, that magical things happening, people cannot fathom that. And then you can form the sangha. A group of people cannot make a guru, but the guru can make a big group of people to follow him or her and make the changes in the world. And that is what is required as far as all these masters and everybody is in active. So you, when you start progressing, don't become inactive. Don't just say, I don't want anything, I just want to sit and meditate and all that. No, you keep doing whatever is required from you. Whatever is your dharma, whatever is your righteousness. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm professionally doing this, I'm father, I'm mother. You keep doing your duties, you keep doing your things, whatever it is. The seed of the world appearance is ignorance, because this is all come from the individual consciousness, the mind and the body. So everything is not real after that. This ignorance or the mental conditioning has but momentary existence, yet since it flows on, it seems to be permanent like a liver. Now every moment to moment you are living right now, this moment is different than the previous moment. This moment is different when this talk started, and this moment will be not there when this talk will end. So moment to moment we are living into this. So it is fresh, it is completely new, it is completely different every time. Why we don't understand? Because we are holding on to that inertness as a reality, that I am this body and I am continuously existing. I am this mind, I am continuously existing. Today is XYZ date and this is the time. We are bound by the time and the space. We are bound by the form and the name. And that's why we think it is continuously, the truth is happening and we are not being able to come out of that. But the moment you realize, no, this is not true. Every moment is different. Every moment is fresh. Every moment is, I'm living, I'm projecting this world. And then you will start getting that hold over that reality, and the unreality will start making more clearer to you. Oh, I'm feeling hungry. Okay, I'm just feeling hungry. You don't have to give that past experience explanation to yourself. Oh, because it's 12 o'clock every day at 12 o'clock, I feel hungry and this is what is happening. It's okay. Just go with the flow. Forget about the time. Forget about the space. Just go with your psychological clock. And then when you get used to the psychological clock, move a little bit beyond. Don't even worry about the psychological clock. Just do whatever is required in the spontaneous, in that moment. Now, yet again, it acquires strength and firmness on the account of these qualities in the world appearance, even as the flimsy fiber, when rolled into the rope, acquires the great strength. This conditioning seems to grow, but in fact it does not. So it's saying that how the reality of the whole world become more and more real, and why it's looking more and more real, because one thing you think is real, then the second thing is attached to that, third thing is attached to that, everything all together. It has given the example like the one thread of the rope. If you have 10 threads, if you have 20 threads, if you have 100 threads, then it becomes strong rope. It's a combination of small threads. In the same way, all these small appearances that you can see around you, conceptualization that is happening in your mind, you can experience around you, starts making you believe that this world is real and there is a reality in it. When it is active, it creates delusion for a long dream of world appearance, and it pervades all relationships and experiences. It is the ignorance or the mental conditioning that is responsible for the creation and perception of the duality and the division and the consequent confusion of the perception and the experience. So see, right now when we are talking, we are understanding this, and we are understanding on the level of duality. There is a absolute, there is individual consciousness, there is a mind, there is a body, and there is this world appearance. Everything we are just taking it. But just take a look, stay back and see, everything is just one. Everything is just one. It is the expression or the projection of that one into different forms and different things. In your body right now, can you tell me this is my mind and this is my body? You cannot. In your mind, when you are taking your attention, can you tell me this is my consciousness and this is my mind, this is my intellect and this is my mind? We don't have those divisions. We just give the characteristics of that expression of that consciousness a particular name for us to understand that it is not that, it is just its expression. Are you understanding? When the light is getting projected and if there are different colors in between, then when it's passing through the green and we see, oh, that's green light, but we understand that it's the same light which is going through. Just because there is a division of the green glass in between, the light has become green. The same way, the same consciousness, same energy, same self is flowing through everywhere. It is in you, around you, everywhere. Here in this body, it is getting projected by this mind and body as this individual personality. That's why we will call it as a Vivek. And then there we will call your name, her name, his name, everybody's name, animals, trees, rocks, everything. But it is ultimately the same consciousness which is everywhere, isn't it? Somewhere it's inert, we'll call it as a rock. Somewhere it's little bit less inert, we'll call it as a tree. Somewhere it's little bit movement and less inertness, we'll call it as an animal. Somewhere it's more aware, more intellectual, we call it as a human beings. There's something like this, that all those divisions are created in our mind, and the duality is also created in the mind, and we use that, though it's unreal, for us to understand that, to go beyond that. Oh Rama, even the darkness appears as you turn, disappears as you turn the light, or the ignorance disappears as you turn towards the light of the self. So no matter how many years and how many lifetimes understanding is this, that I am this, I am that, the mind is old, mind is conditioned, the moment it turns back and starts looking at the self, it starts understanding and lose its unreality. Brahma the creator, from the Brahma the creator to the down to the blade of grass, all this is nothing but the self. Ignorance is non-existing unreality. So all this is again given the same thing, like everything is consciousness and everything is unreal. Now this is interesting. The firm conviction that I am not the absolute Brahman binds the mind, and the mind is liberated by the firm conviction that everything is absolute Brahman. Like we discussed, at the age of 1, 2, 3, you didn't have any idea about yourself. Then all those words you started hearing, and then you started saying, oh yes, I am so and so, I am a man, I am a girl, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, I can walk, I can talk, people like this, people don't like this, I'm getting told not to do this, I'm getting told to do this. All this process of in our family circle, in our social circle, in our education circle, in our all those things, we have been conditioned again and again to do certain things and not do certain things. With our own experiences, we have started creating the likes and dislikes, good and bad things towards that conditioning that has happened to us. Now, in that time, you came to know that I am not the absolute Brahman, I am just an individual person living this. God is something different. I cannot think of God. He is something or she is something different. You created that concept. Oh, to get the God, to find the God, I should follow a particular day for a particular God, or go to the particular temple for a particular God. This another concepts came in. See, understand this. There is nothing wrong or right in this. Understand how those things has happened. I'm not against the temples. I'm not against you going down to the God. I'm not against you following one particular God and particular thing. All those things are fine. But what here is written, and I'm just trying to say that how the concepts are done. So from the absolute Brahman, you started coming down to your physical level, and in between the different qualities of the Brahman, which were different energies, which were different gods, which we were worshipping, has become another concept. That if I want this, I should worship to this God. If I want that, I should worship to this God. But we forgot absolutely that everything has come out from the same thing. Now if we reject everything and if we just establish into that pure consciousness from which everything is come up, then that thing will start, that conviction will start forming firm grip. That is what is written here. The firm conviction that I am not the absolute Brahman binds the mind. So you get stuck into the mind, you get bind by the mind. And the mind is liberated by the firm conviction that everything is absolute Brahman. So you are basically turning the mind and giving it an experience inside you which you cannot fathom, which you cannot hold on, which there is no limit to that, there is no border to that. And when it's dissolving and the more and more mind is experiencing that, it's understanding, no, I'm not limited to this. I'm not what I'm thinking I am. I do exist beyond this body. I do exist more than this body. I will exist if this body will not be there, because I am existing in deep sleep when the body is not there. All those things about the self-knowledge will start dawning into you, and the experience of these things, when you put again and again your intention, your attention, and keep practicing self-effort, then you will start establishing into that. Making sense? Is it not a great wonder, O Rama, that people forgot the truth about the absolute Brahman alone is, and are convinced the existence of the unreal and non-existing ignorance? You know. Then Rama contemplated on this and he said, Holy sage, it is indeed incredible that this non-existence, nescience, creates such an illusion that this non-existence word appears to be the real. Pray explain further how it is possible. Also tell me how the king Lavana underwent all sorts of suffering. So he's asking you how the king, because you remember that juggler came and he gave all this illusion to that and all that. So the Vasistha is explaining now. It is not really true that the consciousness is anyway related to this body. The body has only been fancied by the consciousness as if in a dream. So the body has been fancied by the consciousness because the body is the consciousness is depending on the body. The body is not real. The body doesn't feel the pain. The body doesn't feel all those things. It is actually completely dead. Because there is energy inside and the energy wants to feel all those things, experience all those things. That's why the body is there. If body will feel the pain, even dead body also will feel the pain. So what is inside you that is really feeling the pain? What is inside you that is really feeling the pleasure? What is inside you that is feeling happy, that is feeling unhappy? It is not the body. Body is just the instrument fancied by the consciousness. That is what is said here. The body is insentient and hence can neither enjoy or suffer. Nescience gives rise to the heedlessness and the unwisdom, and hence the nescience alone enjoys and suffers as well. In all the experiences of happiness and unhappiness, as also in all the hallucination and imaginations, it is mind that does everything, and it is mind that experiences all this. Mind is man. I shall narrate you why this king went through all those things. So he is given the explanation about the king perform all those things and all that, and the next page he has explained that whenever somebody reaches to a particular level in their spirituality, it is actually all the different energies and powers which are powerful than them. They start they start challenging that whether you are completely understand this or not. All the small things, all the big things happening around you starts creating this understanding that whether your knowledge is pure and have you established into it or not. So the Lord Indra, he sends all those people to create all this hallucination and illusion for you to make sure that whether you have established into this or not. The delusion that wells this self-knowledge is sevenfold. Seed state of wakefulness, great wakefulness, wakeful dream, and dream wakefulness, and sleep. So delusion of the self-knowledge, how it get diluted, and the last thing is sleep. What are the processes it is going through is one thing they are given, and Also there are 7 states or planes of wisdom. So when you are into unwise state, ignorant state, then how you can rise up to the level of the wisdom. So there are these 7 states, how you go down and how you come up. And then it is explained very nicely by giving the example, in pure consciousness we are seeing the first thing, the delusion of that wells the self knowledge is sevenfold. So the explanation of that is given on page number 98, last paragraph. In pure consciousness, when the mind or jiva exists only in name, it is called the seed of wakefulness. So imagine you are just into that unbroken, peaceful witness consciousness, and even the name jiva, mind, individual consciousness is just names. You are not even experiencing that. It just exists there as a form of name. You don't know what it is. Now you know that, okay, this is my mind, this is my individual consciousness, that I arise, and then it's called wakefulness. When the nation is get more strengthened with the memory, this is me, I want to exist, I want to live, I have been existing for some time, memory is coming in place. Then after that, that is called known as wakefulness. And when the notions get strengthened by the memory of the previous incarnation, it is called the great wakefulness. And when the mind is fully awake of its own fancies and it's filled with them, then I want to know, I want the body for that, I want to experience the body now, because I got a tendencies and impressions that needs a male body to experience that, then I form into the male body. I got a tendencies that needs to be experienced, the latent tendencies that needs a female body, you get into the female body, then male and female are formed. And then in false notion of the experience, when the mind is fully awake of its own fancies and it's filled with them, it's called the wakeful dreams, and that's called wakeful dream. The false notions of the experiences during the sleep, which yet appears to be real, are dreams. So in sleep also you are experiencing the dream, but when you are dreaming, actually you can see that it's real. If a tiger is chasing in a dream, you don't have the understanding that, oh, this is not the real tiger and I am sleeping in my bed. You get sweat, your heartbeat increases, you feel that energy rushing through you because you are saving yourself from the tiger, so that is called dream, but it still finds the reality. And then the same thing is explained here for the 7 states of wisdom. So what is how you can rise to the wisdom? Suppose you are unwise, then what happens? First is the intention, right? Pure wish. Then the inquiry is the second. Then the third is the mind becomes subtler. So you have a intention, okay, I want to study Yoga Vasistha, I want to understand that. Then you started inquiring, how can I study? What is Yoga Vasistha? What is this knowledge? You put your attention there. When this knowledge starts understanding, when you start understanding this knowledge and it starts a little bit establishing into yourself, the mind becomes subtler. And you must have experienced that. All the concepts are going away. The mind is not that firm and strong as it was. Established into the truth is the self. Then you realize, okay, fine, this mind is unreal and it's losing its grip, but what is the truth? Then you heard the truth. Then you are established into that. Oh, I am something different than the mind and body. And then total freedom from the attachment and the bondage is the fifth. Then once you establish there, then the mind is losing its grip. You are not getting attached to all the desires and all these things happening. Though it's happening, you will just see this and witness this as a happening because of the nature of the body and mind. And the sixth is the cessation of the objectivity. Then you realize, no, all those things are there around me. They are not real. They are just there because it's been projected by the consciousness and they are just got this form for some time. They are temporary. They are going to lose it. And the seventh is beyond all those things. And when you go beyond all those things, see, even the objectivity when you talk about, not the object that you see with your naked eyes. Your mind is object. Your intellect is object. Everything is object. And that's why when you go beyond all those things, then you just become the witness of all those things. And then it is given the different experience here. Why do I continue to be fool? I shall seek holy men and scriptures and have cultivation. And having cultivated dispassion is the first wish. And then it's explained nicely the highest state of consciousness, how it can be achieved. And it can be achieved by the animals and even by primitive men as well, by those who have the body and even embodied. So the moment you start rejecting all those things and go back to the self again and again and again and again, till the time you become one with the self. So whatever you can see, whatever you can perceive, you are away from that. You are different from that. So you have to keep going back. No, not this, not this, not this. Till the time that oneness is formed, that duality is gone. And it is the easiest thing, because it's you who is doing all those things. You don't need anything for doing this thing. No scriptures reading is required, no mantras is required, no temple is required. Even this knowledge is the guru itself. So no physical guru is required, that you have to go and sit with the guru and all that. No mantra is required, nothing is required. All you have to just realize that truth which is there inside you, by rejecting the unreal and untruth. So till the time there is duality, that you can see something, you can witness something, you are not there. The reality is that you become one. They who have reached to the highest planes of consciousness are indeed great men. They are adorable, even the emperors of the world. This is the given explanation about that. And then the Vasistha continues. Then the self ignorantly imagines an egotist existence, and even as if gold forgets its goldness and thinks that I am a ring or I am a necklace, and says, oh, I lost my goldness. It's like what is happening. So then the Rama asks the question that how can this ignorance and egotism arise? Now this is very good. Vasistha is saying, like, what is not real, why you are putting your focus on that, why you are considering the questions. One should ask the question concerning the reality, not the concerning about the unreality. It is just the utter ignorance and delusions that the word possesses, and without real existence there is this illusory notion and egotism. So no you, no I, no self, no that, no truth, no falsehood, none of this, no notion of diversity, no contemplation, no enjoyment. Everything is there, nothing there. In the infinite consciousness there is no creator, there is no individuality, there is nothing. Like I said, till the time there is two, there is a creator and there is a creation, there is me and there is you, there is self and there is non-self, there is real and there is non-real. All those things are just creating a lot of delusion, and this is the unreal. So reality is like one. It is like the self-luminous, like the sun. The sun and the sunlight is not different, they are just the same. Even the space exists in the space, one with space. Even so, what appears to be creation is Brahman, existing into the Brahman as Brahman. And the notions are far and near, diversity and everything is just unreal. The day after the hallucination experience, King Lavana thought, I should actually go to these places and visit. Now, because it's happening into the consciousness, he can actually go and visit all those places, because he's created all those things. Everything is there in that, and he saw and he got the experience about all those things. Like you something in a dream, and then you say, oh, I should go and visit that place, and after a few years, you all of a sudden go and find, oh, that place does exist. Something like that. And thus the power of the nescience is capable of creating the total confusion between the real and the unreal. That's what he is saying. O sage, Rama says, it is indeed puzzling. How can that which was seen in a dream and hallucination can be experienced? Then he said, all this is ignorant, notions far near, right, wrong, hallucination and all that. It just, the individual consciousness perceives what he thinks it perceives on account of its conditioning. And on account of ignorance, when the notion of egotism arises, as that very moment the delusion of the beginningless, middleness and the end also arises. And that's why he could see and he could experience all those things and he could visit all these things. So that's the end of this thing, 10th of April, which is 101 page. I hope it will make some sense to you. Keep listening to this again and again. Keep putting a self-effort on challenging yourself and your concepts. Otherwise, this knowledge will not make any understanding to you, and this will become another concept and you will get bored and you will leave it. I've seen many people leaving Yoga Vasistha in between just for the same reason. So you have to use the discrimination, Viveka, to actually understand the reality out of that. So keep yours, and that is something, the sadhana, the penance, the tapas that you're doing can happen 24/7. You don't have to have a take out separate time for that. While you're cooking, while you're eating, while you're talking, walking, doing your job, you have to just understand and go back to that reality, which is witnessing everything that is happening in you, through your mind, through your body, and around you, as you can see through your body, and that projection, once you start understanding and going back to the source, you will start getting this more clearer and clearer. All right, till then, you all take care. I will see you, and I will see you for the next summary. I will send the message about the next week. Jai Gurudev.